Stev mantas, named for their fish-like shape. They're designed to dig in where other anchors lose their grip. Once segment 13 arrives here, 14 steel cables connected to the anchors will hold it in position. But once again, deep water raises the stakes. Once the segment hits the bottom, suppose a problem arises with the ballast tanks. Somehow, Peter would need to get the engineers inside. On segment 1, they could use an access tower, but not in deep water. The solution is a first in tunnel immersion, a self-propelled diving bell. Purchased in America, the sub was refitted just for this project.
I'm coming down to 15 meters, see if we can get the tunnel on sonar. This is the tunnel element here. That's something probably a bollard on the corner.
With a little boat like this that can go to 300 meters, you've got the concept of a ferry transferring people to the tunnel segment.
It's 9 meters long, with room for a pilot, co-pilot, and 5 engineers. It can dock on a landing tower on the segment for watertight access to the tunnel. Deep water poses another problem: monitoring the position of the segment as it's lowered, because one misalignment would be disastrous. To calibrate the position of the first segment, surveyors took readings from prisms mounted on the access tower. But remember, there's no access tower here. So once more, the Dutch devise a smart, simple solution. It's named for what it is: a taut wire. One end attaches to the leading edge of the segment to be immersed. The other end attaches to the previous segment. The taut wire ensures the connection stays under high tension. Positioning the device is a delicate operation. This custom-made model is the only one in existence. Breaking it is not an option. When this segment descends, a computer will record the length and angle of the wire, allowing the team to monitor the segment's position.
The taut wire is nu op high tension.
The taut wire is now under high tension between this segment and the previous one. And as the segment descends, the wire automatically retracts and becomes shorter. So that provides us with exact positioning data.
To fine-tune the position of the segment on the seabed, 4 of these sensors are attached, one on each corner of the bulkhead. Another custom innovation for this project. And wait till you see how accurate they are. The whole operation is remote controlled from the command unit on the pontoon. With one click, they start filling the ballast tanks.
You can feel the tension building up now. And then we all have one question: can we do it again? Can we get it in position? It's the same tunnel, but it's farther away from the coast. It's deeper, the weather, everything. So many aspects make it different every time, so you have to stay alert.
All the data feeds into Peter's computer and refreshes the position of the segment every second.
This is the tunnel where we have to go to. The green one is the final position, and this is where it is now. So you can see it's just below sea level.
De contract is zeker net 2. Even terug naar rond de 10 ton houden. Die zijn even wat zwaarder laten belasten, Anne.
Data from the winches allows him to adjust the segment during descent. It all happens like walking downstairs. One step forward, one step down. And the deeper it goes, the more careful the steps.
At this stage, where the tunnel is just a few meters underwater, there's no problem. We can still move in any direction. Nothing can hit it. But when we're approaching the segment that's already on the bottom, then I have very little clearance, so the steps I make will be a lot smaller.
It takes 7 hours to descend 48 meters, just 9 centimeters a minute. The first step in joining the segments poses another challenge and another solution.
The moment a tunnel segment approaches the one ahead of it, it's moving because of the swell. So we install 2 guide beams on the top end of the segment.
Another simple but elegant solution.
The moment we pull them closer together, the guide beams become less flexible. The movement diminishes until the segment is motionless.
With only 50 centimeters separating the segments, and in near zero visibility, a diver connects the hydraulic jacks. The segments seem aligned, yet the slightest error on this end will translate into a big mistake at the other. But the Dutch don't miss a trick.
Kan ik de nu al gaan uitschuiven?
The 4 remote-controlled sensors on the bulkhead now deploy. They measure the position of the segment within 1 millimeter, the width of a guitar string, and relay the data back to the command center. Peter needs to shift 48,000 tons of concrete, 20 centimeters to the right. Even on calm days, the swell is so heavy and the segment is so long, stability is a problem. The solution? The External Positioning System, or EPS. Yet another Dutch invention based on a simple idea. A pair of hydraulic legs and extendable feet to hold, lift and move the segment. Connecting each pair of legs are 4 steel cables, already installed back at the mooring site. Braced on its robot legs, the EPS laterally aligns the segment into its correct position. Now, the jacks are tightened by remote control, compressing the rubber gasket. Done. One more segment complete. Like the tunnel, the bridges approach the final stages. Before the 2-pylon bridge can accept its last section, engineers have to perform a stretching exercise, as tiny as it is powerful. Both pylons have to be pulled back about 7 centimeters to create enough space for the key section to be placed. Once the tension is released, the final section will have a tight fit. After 6 years, they must be eager to finish. But just like the tunnel crew, they have to move in baby steps. Because this baby is a giant. A few kilometers away, Peter's crew prepares to install their last segment. Just like the first segment, number 18 has to be maneuvered between rocks. As before, they run some of the anchor lines from the pontoons to the rocks.
Because it's so close to the island, it's very difficult to install the immersion wires. Connecting them isn't easy by any means. It's not just a matter of simply pulling them in place.
With all cables attached, they can start maneuvering the segment into place.
Because this segment is extremely heavy, we can't afford even a small mistake. Light contact can cause huge damage to the segment, and that kind of damage can set back the entire project.
After 3 years, they'll open the last tunnel segment tonight, if all goes well. The segment hits the bottom, but there's trouble. One end is sitting 28 centimeters too high.
We're now trying to figure out what the cause is. We don't know yet. It's a major problem at the moment. We're taking about half an hour to go through all the steps so that we don't miss anything, and then I'll inform you about the situation.
The gravel foundation under one of the EPS feet is overbuilt, so they'll have to remove the foot. And the grand opening will have to wait one more day. After final adjustments, the last tunnel segment now sits squarely on the sea floor. All that's left is entering the tunnel to seal the joint with the final segment. They'll enter via the tunnel entrance on Gardook Island. It's the last time Peter will make this trip.
Je begint ergens aan 3 jaar geleden.
You start something 3 years ago, and the first time you think, gee, still so many to go. But time flies. Now it's the last one. That feels kind of strange. Mixed feelings. Glad it's almost finished, but it's a pity we can't do one more. We're approaching that moment again. It's at the bottom, opening the door, hoping it'll all be okay.
After 3 years, light at the end of the tunnel.
De klep gaat nu open op standje 1.
The last step is pumping water out of the immersion joint, so the segment can close up for a tight seal.
Maurice, Peter, we hebben water in de ballast. Zie jij al de tunnel bewegen?
Ja, we zijn op het display ervoor.
Oké, prima. Ja, 3 mm.
They always celebrate this step, but today is the grand finale. Once complete strangers, now firm friends, and soon to go their own way. The end of their long journey lies behind this bulkhead door, and the honor of opening it falls to Peter. Back at the bridge, the final section is lifted into place. Once the tension on the towers is released, the whole structure will be locked in place. With the bridge complete, all that remains is opening the final segment of the tunnel. Last inspection.
Really extremely proud that we did it, and happy, of course. Happy for the whole team. It's just great. After all this time and after a difficult operation, we did it. Very emotional, yes. Fits the moment. I'm proud. So proud. Yeah.
Kom mee.
For Peter's team, the tunnel marks another success on a stellar resume. For the Koreans, it's a chance to join the Dutch on the world stage.
Actually, this was the first immersed tunnel project in Korea. And we developed lots of new equipment and we trained lots of engineers, and eventually we could finish in time and everything is happy.
This isn't just a shortcut to an island.